Hello, welcome back to a new video. If you're new, I'm Samio, and in today's video we are talking all things mind, body, and trying as hard as possible to keep things together over the pandemic. And the reason I want to do this video is because for me personally, I found it a particular, this year has been a struggle, but particularly more so over these past few weeks, I've just found a real shift, not in the best way, and I do feel like it's been because of the change in seasons. A lot of us tend to struggle when we move from summer into winter, the darker mornings, the shorter days, and on top of that, we have got a global pandemic to deal with. So I think for many of us, it is going to be a little bit harder this year because of everything that is going on, that's been going on. There's just a lot, and I feel like taking care of ourselves is going to be harder than ever this year, but also even more important. I'm by no means a pandemic expert, but I thought I'd share some of the things that helped me a little bit, and maybe they can help you too if you're feeling in a similar way. So the first tip for keeping it together over winter during this pandemic is to keep it moving. Movement has been harder. A lot of us have been in lockdown for long periods of time. I know myself really struggled over the summer quite a bit, but even then I was able to get out and go for walks occasionally. A lot of gyms were closed and stuff like that, and places where you'd usually go to get a lot of exercise, but at least, the weather was good and we could go for walks. Now there's been this change in season. I'm definitely feeling it here in the UK. It's not as bright outside, we've got shorter days, the weather has not been the best, and already I've seen myself sort of going more inward and not wanting to go out as much. But last week I sort of said to myself, I have to just get out. It doesn't matter what the weather's like, I have to make myself go for walks, just get some fresh air, walk in nature when possible. It's one of those things I already know these things help, but it helps so much. It's obviously hard when cooped up indoors or when the weather's not great, but there's something quite refreshing about putting on a coat, getting wrapped up and going on a long walk. I think I went on a walk every day last week, and towards the latter half of the week I was just raring to go. I was actually excited for my walk. I was like a dog, at the door, oh, I want to go for my walk today, because it became like a part of my routine. And it is something that is a lot more effort, don't get me wrong. There are some days where I just look outside and I'm like, oh, not today. But even if it's a 20-minute walk, just having a little bit of fresh air, changing the environment, getting outdoors for a little bit can be so helpful. And on top of that, of course, there's things like at-home workouts, because there's loads obviously on YouTube. There's loads of fitness influencers doing all sorts during this period, so there's a lot out there. It's just giving yourself that push to get yourself moving in any way you can, and trust me, even after 10-15 minutes you'll feel that little bit better for it. Tip number 2, so getting a little bit deeper here, and I have definitely been thinking about this one a lot, and this is protect your energy. Now, this is something that I say all the time, regardless of the pandemic. I'm always saying it to friends, protect your energy, and it's even more important now. It's really weird, we're separated in a lot of ways and it can feel a lot more isolating, but at the same time we're tuning in even more to the TV and online to see what's going on. At least I know that's how I felt, and I know, speaking to a lot of friends, it's been a similar scenario. My screen time has gone up quite a lot over this period, and I think it's because of the constant checking in to see what's going on. And in fact, that's another thing. Last week, when I was really making an extra effort to get out and go on my walks, I actually got my screen time down by quite a bit, and even that has helped with my mindset over that period. I feel like at the moment there's a constant urge to sort of check what's going on. I have definitely felt like this, and obviously don't beat yourself up if you feel this way, because I think we're all in a similar boat, especially if you are feeling quite isolated. It's kind of interesting to see what other people are doing and if other people are feeling the same. But what I found with the likes of social media, we all know the likes of Instagram, it can be quite a bit of a highlight reel, but not even that. There's been times where I felt like I'm not really doing much, and then I'll go on social media and it looks like the rest of the world isn't living in a pandemic, and it can be quite confusing. Obviously different parts of the world have different rules, even different parts of the UK have different rules at the moment. For me personally, there's been times where I've not been feeling great myself, and I found it quite hard to see people traveling and just seemingly going about life like everything's normal. So for me, I just stopped watching stories. I haven't watched Insta stories for literally months now, and actually even for that I feel better for it, because it was at times, I'm not gonna lie, it was getting me mad. And I also don't want to be that judgy person either, because like I say, everyone's got their own thing going on. So I found definitely stepping back from Instagram as much. Obviously it's part of my job, so I do enjoy using the platform, but just not getting sucked in too much. It might be completely different things for you, but protecting your energy is so important, and linking how certain things make you feel. So it could even be that you can switch things around. Say it's Instagram and there's certain people that you follow or things that you see that don't make you feel great. Think about how can you recurate your feed. It might mean unfollowing people, or if you're not able to do that, it might mean muting people. And it doesn't mean that you don't like these people, but just sometimes you need to just protect your energy, and you need to just let in things that just give you good vibes. And whatever that is, right now it's so important, because it's even harder when you're stuck at home at the moment, when we've got so much to think about. Like, we have more time to think than ever right now. So yeah, I can't stress this enough. Protect your energy as much as possible. This next one is to stay connected. Now, it kind of sounds contrary to the last point, but actually I feel like this is even more important, because whilst we can feel like we're connecting to everyone because we're seeing what people are doing on Instagram, and even to a degree we think we're seeing what friends are doing, but unless you really connect with someone one-on-one or really speak to that person, often you don't know what's going on. So even more than ever now, it's so important to keep connected to friends and family, and obviously that's like harder than ever, but I think it's just making that extra bit of effort to stay in touch with people. I'm not gonna lie, I find it hard because sometimes I'm not even in the mood, because I feel like I'm not feeling great myself, so I don't even feel in the mood to talk to people, or I feel like I have nothing to say because I've not been doing anything. But then the times where I have gone out of the way, or someone's got into contact with me, I've actually felt so much better afterwards, even if it's just to connect, to say I'm not feeling great right now, and a friend or family member says exactly the same. Sometimes it's just nice to connect in a way that you're on the same page. And that's the thing with social media and things, and this can be in any scenario, not just during the pandemic. We can often see things like Instagram stories, Snapchats. Do people still use Snapchat? Well, that app anyway. These kind of like snippets of people's lives, and it's easy to see someone post and think, oh, they're fine, like, or you might feel sad, and you might see someone and it might look like they're busy because they've posted something, so you think, oh, I can't reach out to them, they're busy right now. But sometimes you can speak to that person and they'll be like, oh no, that was just 5 minutes of my day, I was actually free the whole afternoon after that, or oh, I posted that earlier, but I actually had not the best afternoon. So sometimes you can't just take the little snippets you see off social media and see that as a whole. It's still important to connect to people as much as you can aside from that. It's something that I have found really, really helpful. And in fact, Damien, my husband, he did something quite good with his friend, which I thought was a really good idea, because a lot of us use, text and WhatsApp a lot these days, more so than calling. And he made a little pact with his friend where if they needed to speak to each other, they would only call each other, which I think is a really good idea, because again, over text, it's not always easy to gauge how the other person is actually doing or communicate how you're feeling. I know I'm someone who's rubbish with text. You could text me and I might text back straight away, or I might text back like a whole day later. It completely depends like what I've got going on or how I'm feeling. But if you ring, I am the type of person, I will pick up the phone. I'll be happy to have a chat. Obviously everyone's different, but I feel like I can communicate a lot better over conversation as opposed to having back and forth text. Obviously everyone's different, but sometimes picking up the phone, calling someone and just having a chat is the best way to connect and see how someone's doing, and also let someone else know how you're doing as well. And I feel like I'm going on a bit about the connecting point. If you don't feel like you have a huge amount of people to connect with in real life, I find something is so helpful is finding communities online, which is something you've probably heard a lot before, but for me, something that makes me feel really sort of part of something, or like I've got friends that I don't have, is listening to podcasts. I find that so helpful. There's probably not a day that goes by that I don't listen to a podcast. I did a blog post actually that was about some of my favourite podcasts that get me through life, quite literally, and I'll link that down below, and that shares some of the ones that I listen to on a regular basis. Again, there's different communities you can find online, just anywhere that makes you feel connected and makes you feel a part of something and less alone. I feel like it's so important to find during this period in particular. Now, this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's okay to not feel okay. I say this quite confidently right now, but I'm been a journey for me, and I didn't realise this so much before, but something I actually struggle with is letting myself feel sad. Like, don't get me wrong, I do feel sad, I do get sad, but I struggle to allow myself to be sad, and it's something that I have definitely had to deal with a lot more over this period. I think it's really important to not beat yourself up about not feeling your normal self or not feeling 100% happy all the time, because there is a lot going on. There has been a lot going on. I think it can be this real pressure to, pull your socks up and get on with it. And something that I personally find that I do a lot is I tend to kind of go, oh, well, I don't have it the worst, which I definitely don't. I don't have it the worst by any means. And I feel very grateful for what I have. And I know I'm in a very lucky position in many ways, but that doesn't take away from the sad things that happen in my life. And I think it's this period in particular, everyone is feeling some type of way. I feel like most people I've talked to, some people aren't sure why. I feel like this year has been a momentous shift and a big time to sort of reconnect and really think and feel. We've had more time than probably ever in our personal histories, meaning like in our lifespans, to kind of sit and think about things, and it can bring up a lot. At the end of the day, it's like we're collectively mourning the normality that we once knew, because things definitely aren't the same. It's a lot to process, so I think we need to cut ourselves a break here, and if you're feeling sad, it's okay to feel that way. Don't beat yourself up over it. And I think there's so much growth happening, and growth is painful, so sometimes you've got to let yourself feel that stuff. And something that I find really helpful as well, which I know a lot of people do, is journaling. Journaling is something that I've done since I was literally in primary school. Like, is that kindergarten if you're American? Really small. Anyway, so I was really young. And yeah, I go through periods of doing it more or less, but I think there's something that very cathartic about getting your thoughts onto a page, and it allows you to process your emotions a lot as well. So that can be so helpful to just get it out onto paper as well. This next tip is to keep yourself nourished. I feel like it sounds like an obvious one again, but eat your veg, drink your water. Kind of goes without saying, but even I know through this period, I have not found it the easiest to eat the healthiest. I think it's all in balance and moderation anyway, but I feel like over this period, my intake of takeaways has gone up a heck of a lot, and it's all good and well until I feel how lethargic it makes me feel, because obviously it's like higher in salt, I'm eating more sugary foods, and it's not always great. But when the weeks when I eat more of the fresh stuff, or like the veggies or home cooked meals, I do feel a lot better for it. And of course, drinking water throughout the day is so helpful as well. So things that I find help me, which I don't do all the time, so I'm going to watch this video back and it's going to be my reminder, but is meal prepping. When Damien and I are really on it, we'll like prep some meals for the week, so we'll do a big batch of cooking, and it's really good for the days where we are feeling a little bit tired, can't be bothered to cook. Then at least we've got a home cooked meal to grab in the fridge. Now we're into autumn and we're moving into winter. I'm really excited to make some soups and some stews, and just really like tasty, hearty, like good home cooked comfort food. Even talking about it, you can see I'm excited. It's the way food powers your brain. Whew. It's wild. So yeah, give yourself, just nurture yourself. Give yourself stuff that you enjoy, that tastes good. Cook, enjoy the process. It's all good. And of course, drink your water, keep hydrated. And I'm going to end on a final one because I've chatted your ear off. And this one is to go easy on yourself. As I mentioned earlier, we are going through a momentous year. It's wild, it's a lot. Go easy on yourself. If you don't feel as motivated as usual, it's to be expected. I know I'm not. I'm definitely not feeling as inspired creatively as someone that has to be creative for their job, because I get my creative inspiration from traveling, going places, visiting art galleries, seeing people, all of those things. So it's normal if you're not feeling on your A game through this period, or if you feel like things are moving a little bit slow. The whole world is moving that little bit slower. So just go easy on yourself. That is one of the most important things. Don't beat yourself up. Trust me, there are so many people feeling the same right now. You are not alone in this feeling of what's going on? I'm here speaking, but I'm still like, what's going on? I'll need to watch this video back to just remind myself of some of these things that help. So yeah, those are just some of my tips that hopefully can help in keeping it together over winter during this pandemic, which, yeah, it is what it is. We're learning as we go, we're supporting each other, we're gonna get through it, and hopefully I'm gonna have some more videos to come as well, because I'm feeling my mojo is coming back again. So that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please do give it a like. I hope you're keeping well, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.